Have you ever felt like having infinite options leaves you more lost than free? Kierkegaard said that modern anxiety comes not from a lack of choices, but from an excess of them. Today, I'll show you why you're paralyzed by the illusion of infinite possibilities and how to escape this existential trap that's destroying your ability to live. We're living through the greatest crisis of decision-making paralysis in human history. You open Netflix and spend 30 minutes choosing what to watch. You go to the supermarket and get lost among 47 types of cereal. You think about your career and drown in thousands of possibilities. But here's what no one tells you. This abundance of options isn't freedom. It's a prison disguised as opportunity. Kierkegaard, over 150 years ago, identified this problem with frightening precision. He called it the anxiety of possibility, that suffocating feeling that you could be anything, but precisely because of that, you can't be anything. It's like being in a labyrinth where each door leads to 1,000 other doors. How many times have you failed to act because there could have been better options? How many opportunities have you missed waiting for the perfect choice? How many relationships have you sabotaged because maybe there's someone better out there? This is the paralysis of infinite possibility eating away at your existence. The Danish philosopher understood that true freedom doesn't come from having all the options in the world. It comes from choosing one and committing to it to the very end. He said that a person who lives only in the realm of possibilities never truly lives. They only fantasize about living. You follow 200 Instagram profiles of successful entrepreneurs, each selling a different lifestyle. One day you want to be an influencer, the next a day trader, then a coach, then a digital nomad. You accumulate courses, books, podcasts, webinars, masterclasses, but never delve into anything. Why? Because there's always something better waiting around the corner. Kierkegaard called this a deadly disease. Not because it kills the body, but because it kills the soul. You live, but you don't exist. You breathe, but you don't feel. You have 1,000 possibilities, but zero reality. It's like having an endless buffet, but never sitting down to eat a full meal. The problem isn't that you don't know what you want. The problem is that you want everything at once and therefore can't have anything. It's like trying to drink from 1,000 springs simultaneously. You die of thirst, surrounded by water. You're suffering from existential FOMO, fear of missing out on your own life. Let's be brutally honest. You're addicted to possibilities. Addicted to the fantasy that one day you'll find the perfect option. Addicted to the illusion that keeping every door open gives you power. But what really gives you power is closing 99% of the doors and dedicating yourself intensely, obsessively, fanatically to the one you've chosen. Kierkegaard said that anguish is the vertigo of freedom, that feeling of being on a precipice where you can jump or retreat, but the very possibility of choice paralyzes you. That's exactly what you feel when you open LinkedIn and see 1,000 career opportunities. It's not excitement, it's vertigo, it's existential nausea. The problem is that our society has made a virtue of indecision. Keep your options open, counselors say. Don't limit yourself, coaches preach. You can be anything, parents repeat. But this is a cruel lie. You can't be just anything. You can be one thing, deeply, intensely, authentically. Do you know the difference between fulfilled and lost people? Fulfilled people understand that limitation is liberation. They chose a path and committed to it, even when better options appeared. Lost people are still on the Google Maps of life, recalculating their route every 5 minutes. Kierkegaard spoke of 3 stages of existence: the aesthetic, the ethical, and the religious. A person trapped in the aesthetic lives from experience to experience, always seeking new things, always avoiding commitment. They never evolve because they never delve deeper. They are like a perpetual tourist in their own life, always passing through, never dwelling. The aesthetic individual is a collector of experiences who never becomes an expert in anything. He knows a little about everything, but not much about anything. He has tried everything, but digested nothing. He has started 1,000 projects, but never finished any. The ethical stage is when you finally understand that life demands definitive choices. You stop collecting experiences and start building identity. You stop being a maybe and become a yes or no. You stop being all possibilities and become a specific person. But here's the deeper insight. Even when you choose, the anguish doesn't completely disappear. It transforms. It ceases to be the anguish of possibility and becomes the anguish of responsibility. What if I had chosen differently? But that's exactly it. It's this tension that makes you alive, that makes you human. Modern society has sold us the idea that we should live without anguish, without doubt, without tension, that there is a magic formula to eliminate discomfort from existence. But Kierkegaard knew this is impossible and undesirable. Anguish is part of the human condition. The point is not to eliminate it, but to channel it productively. Do you know why you keep scrolling endlessly? It's not because you're looking for something specific. It's because you're avoiding the anguish of choosing what to do with your life. The infinite scroll is the perfect metaphor for modern paralysis, constant movement that leads nowhere. Let's do a mental exercise. Imagine you could only choose one career, one place to live, one type of relationship, one hobby. How would you feel? Probably anxious, claustrophobic, limited. But also, for the first time in a long time, focused. Because when you remove the illusion of infinite options, all that's left is the reality of one life to live. The inconvenient truth is that you already know what you want. Your body knows it, your intuition knows it, your heart knows it. But your rational mind keeps creating 1,000 alternative scenarios, 1,000 what-ifs, 1,000 plans, B, C, D, E, and so on. And while you're planning all the possibilities, real life is passing you by. Do you know what people's biggest fear is today? It's not death, it's making the wrong choice. It's wasting your life. It's not maximizing your potential, but here's the secret. There's no wrong choice. There's only the choice you make and how you commit to it. Here's what you need to understand. Every choice is a symbolic death. When you choose a career, you kill 1,000 other possibilities. When you choose a partner, you kill everyone else's fantasy. And this isn't tragic. It's necessary. It's sacred. It's human. Kierkegaard compared this to the knight of faith, the one who makes the choice knowing it is irreversible, embracing responsibility, accepting anguish. Not because it's easy, but because it's the only way to truly live. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's authentic. The knight of faith doesn't choose because he's certain. He chooses despite uncertainty. He doesn't choose because it's the perfect option. He chooses because it's his choice. He doesn't choose because it eliminates anguish. He chooses because he accepts anguish as part of life. Do you want to know the secret of people who seem to have figured out life? They haven't figured it out. They simply stopped searching and started building. They stopped asking, "What is the purpose of life?" and started asking, "What purpose will I give my life?" Here's the crux of the matter. You're using the search for more options as a sophisticated form of existential procrastination. It's more comfortable to compare possibilities than to commit to an imperfect reality. It's easier to dream of 1,000 futures than to build a present. But Kierkegaard would tell you, imperfection is where life happens. Limitation is where creativity flourishes. Choice is where freedom manifests. You don't need the perfect option. You need your option. Think about your parents or grandparents. They had far fewer options than you. They married earlier, chose a profession, and stuck with it for decades, and lived in the same city their entire lives. Did this make them unhappier? Or was there something about this limitation that forced them to dig deeper, to create meaning within their chosen circumstances? They didn't have choice paralysis because they didn't have the illusion of infinite choice. They knew life was limited, so they did their best within those limitations. You have the illusion that life is infinite, so you never do anything profound. The revolution of infinite possibilities promised to liberate us, but it enslaved us. It promised to empower us, but it left us powerless. It promised to bring us happiness, but it left us anxious. Now we are prisoners of our own indecision. Kierkegaard understood that true individuality comes not from having infinite options, but from making unique choices and taking complete responsibility for them. Anyone can remain on the surface of possibilities. Few have the courage to delve deeply into a specific reality and transform it into something extraordinary. Genius doesn't come from having access to everything. It comes from limiting yourself to one thing and exploring it to infinity. Michelangelo didn't paint every ceiling in the world. He painted one ceiling with total obsession. Einstein didn't discover every possible theory. He dedicated himself to an idea and pursued it to its ultimate consequences. Do you know what the cruelest paradox of the modern age is? We've never had so many options, yet never been so incapable of choosing. We've never had so much access to information about how to live, yet never been so lost about how to actually live. We've never had so many possibilities for happiness, yet never been so anxious. And here's the final twist. The paralysis of infinite possibility isn't just about external choices. It's about who you are internally. You're so busy trying to be every possible version of yourself that you've forgotten to be any real version. You've become an eternal sketch, never a finished work. You're living as if you were a video game character who can be reset at any time. But you're not a character. You're a real person with a real life, with limited time, with irreversible choices. You can't save the game and test every possibility. Kierkegaard would say that you are living in pure possibility, which is the opposite of living in reality. Possibility is light, reality is heavy. Possibility is infinite, reality is limited. Possibility is fantasy, reality is choice. Possibility is potential, reality is result. But listen to this. The weight of reality is exactly what makes you human. It's what gives you substance. It's what allows you to build something lasting. It's what connects you with other human beings. The most interesting people you know aren't those who kept all their options open. They're those who closed most of the doors and dedicated themselves deeply to their chosen path. So here's the challenge that will change your life. In the next 24 hours, choose one thing you've been avoiding. A career, a relationship, a project, a place to live, a goal, an identity. Choose and commit, even if it's not perfect. Even if it's not the best possible option, even if other people have made different choices, because perfection is the enemy of existence. And you didn't come here to be perfect. You came here to be real. Kierkegaard warned you 150 years ago. You can spend your entire life in the corridor of possibilities, or you can finally open a door and discover who you truly are. The choice, literally, is yours. But remember, not choosing is also a choice. And usually, it's the worst of all. Stop collecting possibilities. Start building reality. Stop being pure potential. Start being a specific person. Stop being all things. Start being one thing. Stop living in the conditional future. Start living in the present indicative. If this video made you question your existential paralysis, if it made you realize that you're wasting your life on the illusion of infinite possibilities, leave a like and subscribe. Because philosophy isn't about thinking about life. It's about finally living it. What about you? Will you continue in the corridor of possibilities, or will you finally open a door and discover who you truly are?